Good morning. Today we are talking about, we're basically doing a walkthrough of what a coaching session in my one-on-one coaching program will look like. So each week in the program, we do a one-on-one coaching call, anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how much time you need. And I want you to know exactly what to expect to talk about on those calls, because that's a question I get a lot. Like, what happens on a coaching call? What do we talk about there? So this is going to answer that for you. So the very first thing I do with my clients when they sign up with me is I get them really focused. They are so busy thinking about what they should do, what they want to do, what their neighbor's doing, what their coworker's doing, what the ad on Instagram said they should be doing. They're so busy thinking about all the things that they could do or should do that they end up doing nothing, because it's too overwhelming. It's like, where do I start, right? So that's the very first thing I do. I help my clients get laser focused on exactly what their goals are and the exact action steps that they have to take to get there. Now, this looks different for everybody, because all of my clients, whether they have the same end goal or not, like whether I have 5 women who want to lose 20 pounds, their approach to that result is going to look completely different from anybody else's, right? So that's why it's really important for me to get to know my people so well, so that I can create the framework that works for them and the step-by-step action plan that works for them. So getting focused is always number one. I had this client recently who thought the solution was counting calories. That was it. She was convinced. And if she wasn't counting calories, she wasn't going to get results, right? And as the coach, and as somebody who has lived that and experienced that, I know that's not true. I know that you don't have to count calories to start losing weight. You don't. What you have to do is start tapping into hunger cues, fullness cues, building out balanced meals, move your body, manage stress, but above all else, start managing your mind and those crazy food thoughts that we have and the obsessive food thoughts that we have, right? So I'm talking to her about this and she's like, yeah. She's like, but I'm still gonna track my food. I'm still gonna count calories. I'm like, okay, but no, you're not. Because that's not how it works, right? Like I've said before, if that worked, it would have worked already. So we kind of compromised. I was like, you can still track your food, but you're just gonna track it in the notes section of your phone, and you're gonna send that to me each day. Just so like I can have my eyes on it, you can feel like you're getting some feedback on it, it's all good. And guess what happened? Over 3 months, she lost 7 pounds, not counting calories. Now, there were times in her head where she would tell me, she's like, like I still added up the calories in my head. Fine. But there's a huge difference between tracking everything in an app and obsessing over the numbers and just having the data of what you're eating. And how I approach food tracking with my clients is it's very intuitive. So we're not tracking to stay on track. We're not tracking to count calories. We're tracking to find patterns. We're tracking to look at habits. We're tracking to look at preferences so that we can build out the lifestyle from there. So getting focused away from counting calories to just becoming more aware of habits and choices made all the difference for her, right? I have another client who she was like, I just feel like over the pandemic, I've been really inconsistent with exercise and with my nutrition. And so I just really want to get consistent and refocus. So the approach with her was track your food for 5 days. Let's take a look. We'll make a change and see how it goes. So what she was finding was she was eating a lot more sugar than she wanted to. And when I looked at her meals, I'm like, okay, these are the small tweaks we need to make. Simple things like adding more protein, fat, and fiber. That framework will never fail you. Protein, fat, and fiber at every meal. And if you're not super hungry in the morning, just move your first meal back. No big deal. It's fine. We did those 2 simple things. We shifted the meal timing a little bit, and we changed the structure of her meals, what they actually contained, the macronutrients, the protein, fat, and fiber. And she effortlessly started cutting back on sweets. Effortlessly. And she's more in tune with her hunger and fullness cues now. It's simple stuff like that. So for her, if I was like, yeah, you're going to track your food every day and send it to me every day, like she doesn't need that. So that's what I'm saying is everybody has a different focus, even if their end goal is the same. different approach for everybody. So that's the first thing I do, focus. Then what we do is we get to work on reframing the mindset, right? Because here's the thing. In this program, I understand how important it is to get those quick wins right off the bat. I understand that we all want our results yesterday, right? And so by making those small nutrition tweaks first and foremost, you're gonna get some wins. You're gonna start feeling better. You're gonna start building momentum. You're gonna start noticing that your clothes are fitting better within the first month or so. That's what we all want, right? We want those results. Whatever the result we want them yesterday. And so the faster I can help you produce those, the better. So that's why we make those tweaks right up front. But then what starts happening is our brain starts talking to us, right? Those self-sabotaging thoughts come in. You start questioning yourself. Is this real? Like, are my pants really looser, or are these just like a different brand? Like, we do that to ourselves. It's crazy. And so what we do in this program is we take those thoughts and we dissect them. It's like, why don't you believe that you're actually achieving what you're achieving? Why don't you believe that this can actually work for you? Why are you looking for reasons for this not to work? Because that's what happens when we diet, right? That's why people lose 10 pounds and they gain it right back. Or they lose 10 pounds and they gain 15, because in their head, there's this running loop of, it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough, you're not doing enough, you need to do more. And so they do more, and then they sabotage, and then they fail. But in this program, this is why one-on-one coaching, guys, I promise you, it is the fastest way to get to the result you want, because those thoughts come up for you and you have me to bounce them off of, and we dissect it, we look at it, and we spin it to make it work in your favor. So instead of, and this is a question that one of my clients asks me all the time, she's like, should I be doing more? And this is so interesting too, because so this client, things are going really well. She's like, the nutrition is feeling automated, it's feeling like easy. The exercise is great. She meets with her trainer twice a week, and then she goes once by herself during the week, and her results are coming in. Clothes are fitting better. She's looking different. She's like, I look in the mirror, I'm like, yeah, like she has muscle definition now, like things are changing, right? So we get on the coaching call last week, and she's like, so what do I do? Like, what else should I be doing? I'm like, nothing. Like, that's the best part of this. Eventually, she's 2.5 months into her one-on-one coaching program. This is the best part, is when it starts becoming automated, when it starts becoming easy. You don't have to do anything else. You just keep doing what you're doing. If it's not broken, we're not going to fix it, right? If the weight's coming off, if the energy is staying high, if you're loving how you're feeling, you're loving how you're eating, you're still able to indulge with margaritas and date nights and donuts and all of that stuff, and you're still getting the result you want, why would we change anything? But that's what our mind does. It's like, okay, I'm getting the result, and now how do I get more? The way you get more is to just stay focused, right? And that is my job, is to pull my people back down, keep them grounded, and keep them focused, like we just talked about, right? It's not always about doing more. It's not always about implementing new and exciting and different strategies if what you're doing is working. And that's probably the biggest challenge, and I should have talked about this yesterday, but that's probably the biggest challenge that my people have, is when they start getting results, they're like, okay, what's next? What do I do? How do I do more? Because they're almost like afraid that it's not true and that they're going to lose it. But again, that's why having a coach as a sounding board to just say, like, no, you're good. Like, let's just keep riding this train. Let's just keep it going. And if we hit any bumps along the way, we'll fix them. That's why I'm here, right? But it's fine to reach that point where it's like, I can relax now and I can focus on other things because my results are coming in. And so then what we also do on every coaching call, and pretty much every time a client texts me or has a question for me, is we're always evaluating. We're always evaluating what's working, what's not, and any tweaks that we have to make. There are times where, like my first client that I was telling you about, the food tracker, there were times where she's like, I feel like my weekends might be kind of like sabotaging my results a little bit, so what do I do about that? So we looked at what she was doing on the weekends, and we decided that probably the best course of action for her was to plan out her weekends, just like you do during the week. I don't know why, like, the weekend comes and it's like, all the things I do during the week don't matter. They do. You want to do the same thing on Saturday as you do on a Tuesday, right? So maybe for her, the solution is planning out meals for the weekend, just so she knows what's coming up. Even if it's date night, even if it's a bowl of pasta, put it on your plan. It just helps your brain feel like, okay, I got this. I'm good, right? And so while Monday through Friday she was doing excellent, she wanted to rein it in on the weekends a little bit. And so we talked about how to make that happen for her in a way that wasn't depriving her, in a way that wasn't restrictive, but just to bring more awareness to it. And so all of that to say, while I can't give you an exact step-by-step example of what your program will look like, because again, this is different for everybody, I can tell you that these are the things that we do on every call. Excuse you, this dog. I'll get you focused. We're constantly going to be reframing those self-sabotaging thoughts and making them work for you. Here's the thing with self-sabotage. It's never not going to happen. You're never not going to have these self-sabotaging thoughts. They're just ingrained in our brain. It's how our brain is wired to work. But you can make them work for you by learning to ask yourself better questions, by learning to talk yourself through those thoughts, those feelings, and working through them. You know, I had a client say to me yesterday, she's like, I was feeling so anxious that I was feeling sick to my stomach. What do I do when that happens? And I'm like, all right, well, what did you do? And she's like, I sat in the car for a minute. And she's like, and then I felt like I literally couldn't stand it anymore. So I just went inside and just like carried on with my life. I'm like, that's exactly it. That's exactly what you want to do, right? Like, you don't want to sit there and torture yourself. And at some point you do have to like live the rest of your life. You have to go like take care of your kids and do your thing, right? But it's acknowledging it. Instead of saying, I shouldn't feel anxious, and because I feel anxious, I'm going to go eat my feelings, she decided, okay, I'm going to sit with this for a minute. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to go inside and carry on with my life. The self-sabotaging thoughts were still there of, you can go eat, you can. And sometimes she still chooses to, and that's fine. But the fact that she chose differently just one time on purpose is so, so powerful. And the more we can do that, the more often it's going to happen, right? So we are always getting focused. We are always reframing. We are always evaluating what's working and what's not to get you to your result faster and forever. There's no more of this back and forth, lose 10, gain 15. That's a pain. Sucks. I hated it. I know my clients hate it. And that's why this system that I have, this like, I use system loosely, but this kind of framework that I have, it just works. So that said, applications are open for my one-on-one coaching program. The link to that is in my bio. Go ahead and apply. By applying, you're not obligated to sign up for the program. We're just going to talk the details. I want to hear from you. What are your struggles? What's going really well for you right now? What do we want to build off of? What are your goals? And how can I help you get there? That's it. That's all we're going to talk about. If the program's a great fit for you, great. We'll get you going as soon as tomorrow. If not, I have other options. That's the best part. So have a great Tuesday. It's beautiful and sunny here. I think it's going to be like in the mid 60s today, 70s the rest of the week. It's going to be beautiful. But I'll talk to you guys later and have a great day. Bye.